All right, so we're just finding, we graph this function, we're finding our relative max so far, now our relative min. It is at 1.618 and at negative 6.090. All right, next there are three x-intercepts that we have to find. Okay, there's this one which is between -1 and -2. There's this one which is between 0 and 1, and then this one which is between 2 and 3. Okay, the first one is at negative 1.402. Are you guys getting a lag today? It looks on my computer, it looks like it's lagging, but I'm not sure what you guys are seeing, or is it coming through pretty quickly?
It's coming through pretty quickly.
All right, good. Thank you. All right, the next x-intercept is at 0.433, comma 0. And then the last one is at 2.4690. Okay, once again, all of that, just as a quick refresher, all of that can be found by just hitting second trace, and you're gonna pick either option 2, which is an x-intercept, option 3, which is a relative min, and option 4, which is a relative max. All right, and then our y-intercept we can just find from our table. It's at 0.3. It's not as important as some of the other numbers, but it's there. Okay, and I sketched the graph already here. You don't have to be as accurate as me for now, but I just wanted to be accurate for a reason. But try to, hit your x-intercepts, your max, pretty closely. On my graph, I want you to notice that the y scale is going by 2s, not by 1s. The x scale is going by 1s. Okay, so take a minute to just sketch that graph really quick. By the way, if you pre-printed the notes, you would have kind of read if you read through this, it's going to help if you have highlighters or different colored pencil, or just a pen and a pencil might be good enough. But I am going to use a couple of different colors for something here in just a minute. Does anybody need any more time sketching their graph? You don't have to label the points like I did, by the way. I did that for a reason, but you'll see why I did it. But just to help in my discussion. But all right, if we need no more time. All right, so the next question, number 3, is asking us to list the intervals that f is increasing and that f is decreasing. Okay, so we're increasing from x is negative infinity all the way up to this relative maximum point. So we're increasing from negative infinity to negative 0.618. And we're also increasing from this minimum all the way to infinity. So we're increasing from 1.618 to infinity. We are decreasing in between there. So we are decreasing from negative 0.618 to 1.618. All right, any questions on increasing, decreasing? You guys remember that from pre-calc, hopefully? All right, so the color thing here, it helps a little bit, but it's not and end all if you don't have different colors. But it's just saying using one color, we'll refer to this as color A, but that doesn't really matter. Highlight the values on the x-axis that correspond to the intervals you listed as increasing. So we're increasing from negative infinity all the way up to negative 0.618. So we're increasing all the way up to about there. Okay, and we're also increasing from 1.618 to infinity. So basically on the x-axis, my two intervals where I'm increasing is from here to here and from here to here, or excuse me, from here to here. And then using a different color, pen or pencil you could have used, highlight the intervals where you are decreasing. So I'm decreasing from here to here. Okay, so we're just highlighting the x-axis. We're increasing from negative infinity to negative 0.618. We're decreasing from negative 0.618 to negative 1.618. And then we are increasing again from 1.618 to infinity. All right, are there any questions so far? All right, going to tie this all in here in a second. All right, so number 6 is asking us for the equation of our derivative of f, okay? So the derivative of f is going to be 6x squared minus 6x minus 6. That's a good looking function. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you the graph of that next. Okay, I'm going to turn this one off and show you the graph of that. It's quadratic. Okay, and once again, we're going to go ahead and find all these critical values. Okay, we have a relative min. Since it's a quadratic, that opens up. We don't have a relative max. We have a max, which would be infinity, but not a relative max. We have two x-intercepts and a y-intercept. Okay, using your calculator again, you're going to find out that the relative min is at 0.5. Okay, now if you have a decimal that terminates, you do not need to go to 3 decimal places. Okay, it's not going to be wrong if you write 0.500 here. Okay, but you only need to write 0.5. Now in your calculator, I'm going to actually show you this real quick. If I find my minimum. It's somewhere between 0 and 5. Okay, so if I find my minimum, I don't know if you can see my calculator very well, but it says the x coordinate is 0.5000003. Okay, sometimes the calculator can be just slightly off. Okay, but we're going to 3 decimals anyway. But what you have to remember, or if you remember from Algebra 2, is to find the vertex. You're going to do the opposite of b, which is 6 over 2 times a, which is 2 times 6, and that is exactly 1/2. Okay, the calculator kind of misses some things a little bit, but you should be able to recognize that 0.500000 is just 1/2. Okay, and then the y coordinate is negative 7.5. And then the 2 x-intercepts. Here's where it gets interesting. Okay, we have one x-intercept, which is between 0 and negative 1. And we have another x-intercept, which is between 1 and 2. The first x-intercept on the left is negative 0.168. Seen that number before. And then the other x-intercept is 1.618. Seen that number before. All right, the y-intercept is 0, negative 6. Again, not as important, but will be down the road. Okay, so notice that the x-coordinate of my relative max and the x-coordinate of my relative min have become the x-intercepts, okay, on my derivative, okay? And we've actually done that before. We did an activity way back over a month ago where we sketched the derivative. So you were given a function and you sketched the derivative, and you knew to bring this point down here and to bring this point here. And then we knew it was going to be a quadratic. We didn't know where that quadratic would turn, but we knew it would be a quadratic, okay? Because you recall we talked about we're increasing, so we're positive, we're decreasing, so we're negative, and we're increasing, so we're positive, okay? I went ahead and again sketched the graph of the derivative. Again, the x scale is 1 and the y scale is 2. So I'll give you a minute to just sketch that. All right, does anybody need more time sketching that graph? All right, so once again, it says in number 9, list the intervals over which f prime is positive and negative. This is not the same thing as increasing and decreasing, okay? A function is positive for all the points on the graph that have y coordinates that are positive, okay? And it is negative for all y coordinates that are negative, okay? So we are positive from x is negative infinity up to here. This whole side of this graph is above the x-axis, so it is positive. So we're positive from negative infinity to our x-intercept, negative 0.618. And we're also positive from 1.618 to infinity. And the derivative is negative in between. So from negative 0.618 to 1.618, we are negative. All right, the last two things we're going to do here, using color A, highlight the values on the x-axis that correspond to the intervals you listed as positive, okay? So we are positive from negative infinity to negative 0.618, and we are positive from 1.618 to infinity. And we are negative from negative 0.618 to 1.618. Okay, your homework is going to be to do numbers 12 through 15, to just fill those out. You're not going to take a picture of it. You're not going to send it back to me. You're just going to just do it, and then we'll just go over it tomorrow at the very beginning of class before we get into our notes. Okay, but that's all I want you to do. This is just an activity to get us thinking about what's going on with these two graphs, but hopefully you're going to make a connection between where you highlighted your first graph and where you highlighted your second graph, remembering that the first graph you highlighted increasing and decreasing values on f of x, and on your second graph you highlighted positive and negative values on the derivative, okay? That's an important connection that we need to make here before we move forward in this next chapter. We are in chapter 3 of our textbook, not that that means anything to you guys, but we will spend the rest of the quarter on chapter 3. So we have a quiz. If you want to write this down or you need to know, I haven't put it into Canvas yet, but it should be in there by the end of the week. We have a quiz on Friday, November 20th. So we're going to be going a while before our next assessment. It's going to be over about the first half of the chapter. and that's the Friday right before we go on Thanksgiving break. Okay, so we have this week, which is 5 days. We have next week, which is 4 days, because Veterans Day is on Wednesday, and then we have a 4 day week. Oh, I should say we don't have a 4 day week. I'm out the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, so you guys will just be working on an assignment. That Wednesday we won't have a Zoom meeting. That'll be on November 18th. Um, so keep that in mind. Um, this is going to be for everybody what I'm about to say, but obviously some people know it's not for them, and others know that it is for them. But if you did not do well on the last quiz, you didn't do well last quarter, and I have contacted your parents and I have contacted you, and you're not responding to me, there's nothing I can do to fix that. Okay. Eventually, the problem's going to catch up to you. And for some of you, it already has. And things aren't getting better. So until you start responding to me and I can figure out what's going on with your grade or what you're doing wrong, you guys don't talk in class. So I know it's real easy to sit there behind a computer, walk away, whatever. But if you're doing that, it's just going to get worse. This calculus stuff isn't going away. Derivatives aren't going away. Hopefully the message is getting across to you right now. Like I said, most of you, this does not pertain. Okay. I have nothing else for today. So if you don't have any questions, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.